So a very good evening to everyone and welcome to the 54th session, the Saturday nights of Living Life. As you all have been joining us in so many nights, I really hope that today's night is going to be even more interesting and you will be able to reminisce the events, the fun events that have happened in your life. And I will be able to add value to them by the learnings we can get from all of them. Today's topic is an amazing topic because it is all about the first forwards. Isn't that sound something really, really difficult for all of us? Before I go deep into this topic, let me introduce Living Life to people who have joined us for the first time. Living Life has been into the field of training, motivation, and life skills since last 14 years. It was started by Rahul. The idea, the seed was put by Rahul. And once I got married and came into his life, I became a part of it, just like becoming a part of his life. We do seminars in colleges, corporates, and now the Saturday night has become a very important part of our life, I would say, because this is something which we have been doing since last 1 year and has added a lot of value to your world and to our world altogether. So today, when we go ahead with the 54th session of this meeting, the theme is all about first forwards, one of the toughest things of our life. If you all have seen the poster, that poster was designed with the idea that when we take that first step and before we put it down, there's a whole lot of things that go into our minds. Confusions, articulations, expectance, doubts, fears, happiness. There's so many feelings that become a part of that little time after taking the step up and putting it down. And that is what today's session is going to be all about. But there is something which also goes between that little time. That is of how, with what mindset, with what openness, with what acceptance are you taking that first step. So today, as we will learn about the experience and the emotions that had gone behind that first step, I will try to add what learning comes from that first step. And for this session, this is going to be a mix of open mic and the inspiration or the learning part of it. So I will be asking a question to each one of you about your first experience on that topic. And I will try to add the learnings we all get from that first step, or maybe after that first step. So let's start with the youngest people in our meeting. Let's start with Akanksha.
Yes, ma'am. Audible?
Yes, you are audible. So, Akanksha, my question to you is, what is your learning from the first thing which you would have done new, or something which happened which you did for the first time, which you never thought you would do?
Attending these Living Life sessions, I never thought I would be doing this at all, and I never expected I would continue for this long. So almost, and after 1 year, I'm still coming, and I never expected this in the first session. So the first session, even it was so new to me. I knew none of y'all because I came referred by a friend, and I know none, and it was so new to me, the environment and everything. But later on, I got used to it. So the first learning will definitely be how to get used to people, how to get used to someone new, someone you don't know at all. So that was the best learning I've got here.
So Akanksha, if I may ask you, do you know now when you look back at your first session which you attended with us, and when now you look back, can you let us know of what you think you learned over this process after that first step?
I just realized I could do something new. Instead of just sticking to my old ways, instead of just spending time, wasting time, I could do something new. I learned, I have that, coming to these sessions, I can learn something new by doing such things. that's the best thing for sure.
Thank you, Akanksha. So many of us in our life have attended some kind of training, some kind of events in our companies. Our first office day, probably the first project that we took. And we all had different kind of apprehensions like Akanksha had. She didn't know who the people were. She didn't know what she's opening up to. She did not even know what is it that she's going to hear to. But she did try. So whenever we try something new for the first time, it can be a new project, it can be a new training session, it can be anything. Let's see what kind of learnings come their way. The first and the most important learning is that comes is to get to know new people. Whenever we open ourselves to these trainings, to these events, we get to know people outside our own restricted world, the safe world that we have always been into. Our relatives, friends, most of the times our office colleagues with whom we are very, very comfortable. It teaches us to go beyond that and know people. Like now, when you have been attending our sessions, you have got to know so many people in this meeting. Probably you would have never thought you will ever meet them in life, or you would ever listen to their news stories and their learnings. At the same point of time, whenever we are learning something new, like Akanksha did, attending a training session, we try to open up to our skills, things which probably we have never tried to do. We are always restricted to our skill sets. We feel this is the max I can do. And I still remember a point of time where Akanksha came and told me, my mother is saying you are not supposed to attend these sessions. But I still remember the reply she told that she gave to her mother. I can decide how much I want to grow. I know whether I want to listen to this or not. That was one of the most beautiful answers which I have heard in any of my training sessions, because you decide your world when you open up to these trainings or these kind of new learnings. You decide how much you want to expand your horizons, how deep you want to go, how high you want to achieve. And that's something which we all have been doing here in these sessions, these kind of sessions. So whenever you get a chance to start anew, do not leave it. A beautiful story which I heard was of a lady who always believed in achieving. So when she started getting things step by step, at a point of time in her life, she had everything. She had money, she had the amenities we can think of, and she was the CEO of a company. So one of our friends came to her and said, wow, yaar, now you can just sit back and relax. But you know what she said? You know, I am starting a new job tomorrow. The friend was shocked. Have you gone crazy? You have a set life, you have a set business, you are a CEO, you have a car, house which people would wish for. Why would you want to start anew? And the answer she gave was, I have achieved whatever I could in this line. Now it's in my hands whether I just want to live on it or whether I want to learn on it. So I think most of us do this thing when we go for these kind of new things, the first steps that we take, the first time we have taken and we think, now it's done. Now I am set. This was the only step I could take and I have taken it long back. I can't do it anymore. But if you really want to move forward, the first forward has to keep coming every single time, every single day. Then only it is going to be forward. Okay, so next let me call upon Hasnuddin sir.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening.
Hasnuddin sir, you are into business. And I would want to know, I think everybody would want to know what kind of apprehensions you had when you were at your business, the very first day of your business. When you would have gone for work and it was the first day, you didn't know what's in line for you.
Okay, actually, I want to tell you, I am in the business for the last 4 years. Okay, before that, I used to work in Middle East, Saudi Arabia. Okay. You know, I worked in Saudi Arabia for about 23 years for a single employer. Okay. When, as long as I was working there, for the first 5 years, I had to struggle a lot to understand their language and business model, business culture, people, their culture. All it was a very tough time for me for the first 5 years. Then later, I used to feel that our boss, my boss, who was a Saudi sheikh, was making me more favors. You know, and I was thinking for the rest of the 18 years that am I really working or he is doing me favors? So one day one European came to our office. After knowing me that I am working for him for this long period, he told me, "Are you stupid? Are you a family member? Are you a national? Are you a business partner? If you are not anything, why are you working for a single company for so long period?" Then really it triggered me that yes, why I am working for someone for so long time and fixed in that culture only. Then it triggered in my mind that no, let me test myself whether I can stand on my own or not. Then in 2017, I resigned to my job where I was getting good salary, comfortable with my family there. Then no, let me try whether I can stand on my own legs, whether I can run a business on my own or not. Am I a spoon feeder for a whole life? Then no, I was a big manager there, factory manager. Then I left that company in 2017. I came to India. That was my first step actually in my career. It was my first step. Walking on my feet, me alone. Yeah. Then from that 2017 onwards, I am doing this business in India. Initially, I thought, no, I cannot run my business here. I am not suitable in this country. But no, people have really welcomed my business and products. And 2017 was my first step in India.
Thank you, Hasanuddin sir, and I'm sure that would have been a tough time to take that risk and come. And that is what I think the first step we take to start our own business. Many of us keep thinking that I want to do something on my own. I want to start something. But have you ever thought what goes when you think about that first step and you don't keep it on the floor to take it? The things that goes into our mind most of the times are whether success will come to me or not, whether I'll be able to sell my product or not, whether I'll need to follow up every single day. Why do I need to do it? I'll get a salary in my bank at the end of the month if I keep working. As Hasanuddin sir said, he worked there for 18 years, 17, 18 years. Was it because he wanted to do it, or was it because he was too comfortable of getting that monthly paycheck? When I was reading about it, they say that there are few difficult addictions, few of the most difficult addictions which you can't leave: liquor or alcohol, cigarettes and drugs. But there is something which is even more addictive and dangerous, which you can't leave: a monthly paycheck. The most difficult addiction to leave. When you go into taking that first step of business, what you need to do is don't be afraid of following up, of hard work, of planning of what you want to do. Because if you do these things, as I have said, success might come today or tomorrow. But if you do not let your wish come out, you will die with the same wish forever, with a heavy heart. So do not do that. And I would say that I really appreciate Hasnuddin sir that he did take that first step, put it on the floor, and he is moving fast forward on that. Okay, let me call upon Chetan. So Chetan, you have been into coaching business. And in India, it is still something which is not too spread, I would say. It is something, it's a new concept in India still. So when you took your business as a coach, what was the first thing when you started planning for it for the first day? What was it that came to your mind, the apprehensions, the fears that you had before taking that step? You're on mute, Chetan.
The first thing that came in my mind when I decided that I'll make a career as a teacher was I should shift from the place where I was. So I belong to a taluka place. So it came in mind that I should shift to a city like Pune, which is education hub. So it was a long procedure, starting with booking a flat, waiting for its possession, shifting to Pune at a new place, new people all around, and starting with the career. It was not like I was not teaching before, but it was totally a new beginning, second inning, I would say. So it was like, if I tell you, my tower is 22 floor. I would go to it. At that time, there was nothing like WhatsApp, Facebook, this social media. 2014. So I used to go 22nd floor, distribute pamphlets on my own, 8 flats, come down via stairs till the ground floor. So this is how I started my journey, and it's not, I haven't reached my destination, but in process.
That's great, Chetan. May I also call upon Rabia?
Yeah, hello. Hi.
Hi, Rabia.
Hi,
So, Rabia, you have been into teaching field, one of the most difficult field, I would say, for me at least.
Yeah.
You've been into teaching field. So what was your experience, that particular experience of the first day when you went into a class and you realized that, okay, now I am a teacher, I'll be teaching these kids sitting in front of me. What was that first day's experience?
Yeah, I would like to say the same. I would like to share. I'm really glad to have this topic for me as such, which is very close to my heart. So the thing which I would like to say is that as long as I was doing my post-graduation, I completed everything like from intermediate to PG from Vanita College, Sarojini Naidu Vanita Mahavidyalaya at Exhibition Grounds. There I had been to for all these years. And then after, once I completed the PG, even the results were withheld, means to say there was some delay and to be announced as such. At that moment, it's my friend, one of my friends. Now she is in US. She was working and she was a year senior to me in PG. And the moment she finished with her PG, then she joined in Vanita College itself as a lecturer. So I used to admire her a lot because she was though senior to me, but still then I had an admiration for her because she was too bold enough. She was so outspoken, you can say, and very strong enough to have a stand of her own. So I used to look up to her because I was a little shy kind of a person, an introvert. And you can say I used to keep myself away from public. So then she was the one who used to always guide me. Once in a while when I used to meet her, she used to guide me by saying that, see, life is tough, you have to be strong, things may change because nothing is permanent, everything keeps changing. What is the permanent thing is the change itself. Like that, she used to give me the tips and all, and I used to get fascinated by it. And that day when I just had completed my PG, she came to me and then she told that, see, now you have done with your PG. What are your plans? Are you going to get married or you would like to take up a job? So I was just blank at that time. I never had anything in my mind as such. So, but it was my papa's wish also that this is the profession which he feels to be the noble profession, being a teacher. So keeping that into my mind, I just told that, yes, I may take up any job of a teacher or something like that. So coincidentally, it so happened the moment I told her, the very next week itself, there was a vacancy at Kamla Nehru Polytechnic. So she called me up the moment she used to go for her computer classes there. There was some coaching classes were going on. So she used to teach at Vanita, and then after completing her job, she used to go for this computer classes. There she came to know about this vacancy. The moment she came to know, the very next day she called me up and said that, see, Rabia, be ready. I'm going to call you up for a vacancy. You have to face an interview. The moment she said, I was just thinking, oh my God, how am I going to face it? I just have done with my PG as a student. How am I going to go for it? Then she called me, she made me to sit, relax. And then after she told me, see, just we are going to do a rehearsal. She told me, don't feel anything. Don't get afraid. Don't get scared. It's nothing like that. It is as simple as I have started with. Everyone have the first step to take somewhere, somehow. So you have to take it. This is your life and you have to face it. So then after she sat in front of me in our Vanita classroom itself, she took me to a classroom which was vacant. There she sat as a student and she made me to teach her. So I was getting nervous. I was little stammering and all. Then she said, take this book, go back home, do it like a homework, come back tomorrow, think of me as a student and teach. So then it so happened that they were in need of it so much that they called her in the morning and said that if there is a candidate as what you, she dropped a word there saying that there is a girl who is there looking up for a job. So the very next day when I was going to take a class like a demo for her, she received a call for me to be sent to that place. So the moment I went to see her, she said, no, nothing doing, no need of practicing anymore. Directly, she took me to that place, to Kamla Nehru. We went both together. And then she introduced me to the principal and to the head. And then after, the head said that, okay, we are ready. We were waiting for a candidate for it. The class is ready. You please go and give the demo. Oh my goodness, that was the thing you won't believe, Pragya. The girls were around 70 in a class and all were of degree first year because it is a course of DCCP. So it is equivalent to inter first, inter second and graduation first year. So the moment I entered, they all stood up. Even the head said that I'm going to be there. And he was a sir, not a madam too. So he was sitting at the last row, in the last row. Then one word she told me. She was there outside in the corridors. Sarah, before going me, she wished me and said that, see, just think that they are knowing nothing. They are ignorant. They are illiterate. Think of it and start. And don't look at the face of that sir. Think of him to be like a student itself. Or don't ever look at him. And you just start. And I just had come with preparation of a particular poem. And I just gave the introduction. I started off and I finished off. I never knew that how am I going to finish off. I finished, everybody was so quiet and calm and were listening so attentively. Then after, when I finished, the head of the section walked out from the class. The girls were there. Then I told, see girls, I don't know anything much about
Rabia, I think your experience of the first class was well practiced with your
friend,
professor and friend.
Yeah.
But I think most of us, we don't get to practice our first steps all the time.
No, I couldn't practice. The first day when she took me to the class, that
so most of us don't get to practice our things in our life, and that is why we have so many apprehensions, so many fears that we go ahead with. So let me ask Ganesh. Ganesh has worked in a corporate and has a different kind of exposure over here. So Ganesh, if I may ask you, how was your experience of the first day, that first time when you entered the office? What were the apprehensions or the fears you had in your mind?
Okay. So let me take you back 10 years. It was 2010. I came out of college, and I went for. I was selected for one of the renowned organization, that is Accenture. Okay, I was so excited that I am getting into one of the best organization in the world, and I was all prepared. Okay, and to my surprise, the play. I was my first day was at Mumbai, and we were supposed to be inducted in Oberoi Hotel, one of the best hotels in Mumbai. Okay, and I mean, I was like, I thought, yeah, I never, by then, I've never been to a 5-star before. Okay, to put it straight. So I was like, okay, it must be a place, a convention place where I could be able to go and just, okay, they will brief us about our roles, maybe something about the organization. Uh, it was the thought which was running in the back of my mind. But when I entered into the hall, the way we were welcomed, the hospitality that we got, and the way they have projected us and they treated us like, okay, we are the future of their organization and we are taking them up a level. So it was like, yeah, you are the one, and from nowhere the energy doubled and things like, okay, I did it kind of feeling started pumping in myself. It's like, okay, I mean, after a struggle of, we were selected out of, to give a brief, we were selected out of 8,000 odd people. We were just 98 people selected for that organization. So already we were far away from the league. When we were treated like this, we were like in cloud nine. And I felt, okay, I got whatever I wanted in life. Yeah, this is the first thing which which I experienced when I got into there. But slowly, as the time passed and the kind of work we started doing, I felt, okay, is this a life which I was looking for? Okay, is this the only thing which I was looking for? And I worked so hard and I completed my degrees and all just to achieve this, a 9-to-5 job, listening to someone who may or may not be more qualified. And technically, if the managers comes from management, but they talk something which is technically not feasible. Okay, so these things started, creating panic inside me. Okay, and staying in Mumbai is not easy, my friends. I'm telling you. Just because I was part of, I'm from Odisha and I stayed in Mumbai, it's like I felt so crowded. It's like every day there is some Rath Yatra going on and I'm getting into the train. If I had to go to the office, I'm getting into the train and I felt like I'm going to a Mela. Okay. And these things started triggering inside me. Okay, it's time, it's time, it's time. You need to get out of it, my friend. And that's when I decided I'm leaving, I'm going. Okay, and all things I started doing, every possible thing that could help me to get out of the space and put me in a place where I'm more comfortable. I started looking for the comfort zone of mine, and that's when I started using my technical skills to figure out where I can land. Okay, and I was part of the one of the interesting projects which is called as CIO, Chief Information of the Organization, and I had access to all the databases. I used to generate reports for the hand managements and create the what do you call it, reports and the dashboards for them. So I used my skills. I figured out where's the place I could land in, and I figured out a couple of.
I would say the best skill you could have applied then would have been to what I did when I was in Mumbai. The best skill I tried with was first time in Mumbai for me as well. So the best skill I applied there was to calculate a lot. Okay, so I used to actually calculate that if I sit in a 10:29 local, I will reach this particular place at this point of time. Then there'll be this much amount of traffic, and if I take so and so bus, this is how I'll be jotting down my plan. But great take, Ganesh, and I'm happy that at least your first day started with greetings and all these kind of things. But I am sure that most of us do not have that kind of a leverage on our first experiences. But there is one experience which tickles us all. I would want somebody to give a short, quick reply on this particular first. And that is our first love, our first crush, our first relationship. Maybe it worked out, maybe it didn't work out. But that is something which always remains as a fond memory. So can I have one last person who can tell me something about their first? You don't need to take names. I understand the emotions and feelings that goes behind it. But yes, Rashmi, Anand, Kavita, Uma ma'am, any one of you, Akanksha, I will not be asking you to keep rights reserved for your mom and dad, Shreya and Akanksha. Yeah, maybe probably Shreya. Shreya, you can tell us about your first crush. I'm sure every girl has it on their teachers, on their neighbors. I don't know who all, but yes, every girl has it. Who was your? You don't need to take name, okay? You don't even need to tell that.
Teachers, obviously.
What?
Teachers, obviously.
Yeah. So, what was your experience of seeing that first teacher? Were like their violence behind? Were there curtains?
She had dimples. She had dimples.
Oh,
so she looked cute. She looked cute. She was my science teacher.
But you had a crush on your science teacher, and you say she was she. I am asking about a he.
No, he, ma'am. It's a girls' high school.
Oh, then this question itself is not eligible for you. Okay, Rashmi. Or maybe I should ask this thing to Uma ma'am, probably. Uma ma'am, you have stayed a long part of your life. It's okay. I hope Natraj sir is not around if he was not your first crush.
So yeah, Rashmi is answering something.
Yeah, Rashmi.
So, actually, it is very hard, but I don't have any first crush. But I, my family was very conservative, and I was always saying, "Oh my, I love Amitabh Bachchan. I like Amitabh Bachchan." And my mom said, "You don't have any shame. You are saying I love Amitabh Bachchan. I like him." So I'm just wondering, I never come across this thing. But even I said like this, big drama in my house. So how can you say I love Amitabh Bachchan or I like
I understand the Amitabh Bachchan story because yes, even my grandmother was like that. But with Uma ma'am's expression, I am 100% sure that she really has a nice, cute story for us of her first crush.
Yeah, just like Rashmi said, regarding actors, I was very fond of Shivaji Ganeshan and cricketer Kapil Dev. Okay, but in school, maybe I had a crush on some boy. It was one-sided, and I had kept it to myself. So I just really, I remembered this topic when it came to me in Toastmasters too. In one of the table topics, the same question came to me, and I told about this crush which I had. So it is, I don't know whether it was out of infatuation or because when we were young, we never know what it is. So I had such one crush on a particular boy, but I never expressed it to him. It was just one-sided.
I think most of us have been in this situation, Umaji, wherein we had that, the first girl we saw around and there were violins behind and there were balloons popping and flowers all over. With that first boy or girl or a hero or a cricketer, it can be anybody. But with all these stories, do we all get to understand something? That firstly, our firsts are always memorable. The memories which we always cherish, even if it has been a memory of pain, of fear, of anxieties. But now when we look back at that memory, we still cherish that we have come this far. But when I was understanding about this topic, the first forward, and I decided on that poster, one thing which came to my mind is that why is it that so many things go into our head before taking that step? Why is it that we get that fears? Why is it that we are always scared to do new things, even if it is as small as expressing our love, affection, or a feeling towards somebody. The most core reason for it, when I was reading about it, is there is a term called nomophobia. So this nomophobia is all about trying something new. It creates a kind of anxiety whenever I tell you to do anything new, which is out of your comfort zone, which is out of your imagination, which you would have thought. You get this fear. And I'm sure all of you know that. For example, Akanksha, if I tell you that, okay, fine, go and talk to this guy, he really likes you, would you be able to do it immediately? No, right? You'll get some kind of bubbles in your heart. You will feel butterflies in your stomach. You'll be like, oh man, this is crazy. I can't do this. How can he like me? How can anybody like me? You know, these are the kind of questions we used to get. Similarly, when we are trying to go with that first resume of ours to our first job, the kind of thoughts that we got then, I think I'm not capable of enough. Have I put everything in the resume? What if they ask me something out of this resume? What if I don't get this job? This is my first trial. What if I don't get it? Maybe I will not get any other job after this. By the time you were starting from your house and going to that job, everything of this came to your mind. And that the core reason for that was this nomophobia. Because our mind wants to keep us safe from any kind of things which will create this anxiety. And as I told in my last session also, if anybody of you were there, that mind is a very smart being. He knows when to tell us, keep yourself shut. You are thinking nonsense. And this is exactly what it does when we are talking about the first step. Now let us try and understand what goes behind this, behind the scenes kind of a thing when you're trying to take that first step. The first thing that will happen is that you will start talking to yourself. You know, just try to go back to that memory which you have just told and try to think of what was going in your mind then. Weren't you talking to your own self? Uma ma'am would have been thinking in her own mind at the background then when she would have been seeing that guy. I so wish I can tell it to him. But what if he says no? What if he likes some other girl? You know, what if he rejects me? Similarly, when Ganesh would have been going for the first time and entering that hall, at the back of the mind, he would have been thinking, what if this is a cruel place? What if they put me into profile which I would not want to work on? What if the people here are rash? What if my boss is a mad guy? Similarly, when Rashmi would have been shifting to London, she would have had her fears and apprehensions on taking that first step. And when she would have been going to that flight, to take that flight, and she would have been holding that boarding pass in her hand, I'm sure, Rashmi, you would have been thinking, do I really want to do this? Can't we just stay here? Why do I need to go to a new country? What if my husband beats me there? What if my mother-in-law throws me out of the house? What will I do? So all these kind of fears are there with our firsts. But remember, when you have a fear, there's always a solution too. So rather than focusing on these fears, let's find out of what we can do to sort these things out whenever you want to try something new. The first thing which you need to do when you have a fear is say it aloud. Most of the times, the anxieties that we have inside is because we try to keep things closed deep inside and we don't want to accept that thing that we are anxious about it, that we are fearful about it. And the first rule of getting out on that first step and going away from your fear, your pain, whatever it is accept that you're anxious and it's fine. Tell your mind that if you're worried right now, it's okay, but let's try it. And trust me, this is something which I have tried on myself. The first day I sat in front of all of you for the first Living Life session. Rahul has been taking all the sessions. I was dead scared. I was. That is why I told him I will only speak for 10 minutes. You take the session. But What happened at that point of time was the tussle that was going inside my mind that you cannot speak. You do not have the confidence to do anything new. You are worthless. You cannot fit into it. When these thoughts were going in the background of the mind, I did just very simple thing. It might seem very vague, but trust me, it works a lot. At that point of time, just tell to yourself, I accept your thoughts. I know you're scared, but let's try. That was the only thing which I did then. I know it was only for 10 minutes that I could speak, but I did. So next time, whenever you get a fear, tell your mind, I respect your thoughts, but let's try. You know how you tell it to a kid? So our mind is that fool kid. You give it a chocolate, it will be happy with it for some time. And it will give you that space and time to work on it. Second thing is try to feel detached. Now you must be thinking, how can I be detached with my brain? Right? So whenever you get that kind of a thing in your mind that I am getting fearful to take this first step, take that mind as a third person. You know, all of us are experts in giving advices to others. So that is exactly what you have to do with yourself too. Take your mind as a third person and advise it in the same manner you would advise your neighbor. I know you will do a wonderful job. All of us are amazing at giving these advices to neighbors. So that detachment of that event then will help you take that first step. Tell your brain, wait for 5 minutes, I'll come back to you. Let me first do this. And that's how you detach your thoughts at that point of time and remember that this is what I want to do right now. I will get back to the fears later and think about what all they were. So that's a very, very important part of having this kind of a courage and all these things. What we also need to learn is that sticking to convictions and ideas is something which is the most common cause of us not taking that first step, right? All of you agree. You have your convictions that I can only do this much. I can only walk this far. I can only speak this much. All of us have it, right? If I ask Chetan right now, Chetan, do you think you can coach 10 people at the same point of time?
Yes, we do have batches in which there are around 10 students.
Right. Now I tell you, Chetan, do you think can you take 20 people at the same time? The apprehension came in because right now your mind started telling you she is talking something which is not practical at all. You will not be able to do it. You cannot cater to 20 people at the same point of time. At times, it can be 10 people, 20 people. I'm just giving a random number. This number can go up to 20, 30, 40, whatever it is. It's a random number which I have taken. But we do get these kind of apprehensions. If I tell Rashmi, okay, Rashmi, start 4 centers of your homeopathy.
Yes.
Will you?
4 sentences.
4 centers for the homeopathy treatments that you do.
It's not possible for my own.
Came with the idea that it is not possible because at this point of time, the thoughts that would have come into your mind would have been, I have a home, I have a family to look after. How can I go to 4 centers? How will I take care of 4 centers and so many other things? What if at the same point of time, when you're thinking these negative thoughts into your mind, which is stopping you from taking that first step, what if at this point of time you think, I think I can if I manage a few things around. Small difference, small twitching of a thought. You still did not say a yes, but you gave an open-ended idea to your mind at this point of time that I can probably try and do it. And you know why we will do it? Because the brain is, as I told, like a small kid. So anybody of you who has seen kids, if you tell them, if a kid asks for a pen, okay, a small 2-3-year-old kid asks for a pen. If you tell that kid, no, you cannot take this pen, what will the kid do? Show tantrums. right? They'll shout, they'll cry, they'll throw things, they'll do whatever they can to get their say done. Exactly here's how our brain works for new things, the first steps. If you tell that kid, wait for 2 minutes, I'll give you a bigger chocolate later on. I'm doing something right now and I have a bigger chocolate inside, I'll give it to you. Then how will the kid respond? Right? If you tell a kid that, no, you don't take this pen, I'll give you the phone. Then how will the kid respond? This is exactly what we need to do to our brains when we want to take that first step. Never say, you should do it, I will do it. Your brain will respond in a negative way and it will tell you not to do it. Whatsoever you do after that, it will give you so many explanations of your idea being vague, worthless, useless, impractical. So all we need to do at that point of time when that fear is coming is twitch your answers a little bit and then start taking that first step. So this was all the theory part. But one thing which our first does to us is to give us memories which have brought us this far. It has given us imagination. It has given us so many ideas which have taken us this far. So respect your first, love your first, especially if they are your crushes. Because trust me, the first feeling you had for your love, for your relationship, and for your crush is the immemorable one. This crush can be a job, a girl, or the first business like Hasanuddin sir. But I really hope that all of you will now go back and think of the learnings which you had from your first and the fears you overcame at that point of time. Because your first always gives you the most beautiful memories and makes you the strongest to move forward. Some other day, I'll tell a story of my first two, my first love, I would say. But let me now call Rahul for taking over.
Hello, everyone. Good to see so many people today. Today's session was primarily driven by Pragya, and I would just like to add a few inputs that I have in mind on this theme of First Forward. While I've heard different stories from all you people, Chetan, Hasanuddin sir, Uma ma'am, Shreya, Rashmi, Ganesh, I'm still to hear from a few other people. I would like to listen from you all on your perspectives from what I'm going to share ahead. First and foremost, just give me a second, please. Doesn't all our lives, each one of us, the way we have experienced our life, whether you are 15 or 16 like Akanksha or someone who's much elder and over 50, for every element in our life, haven't we had our firsts? But while you go back to your childhood, the firsts have been much more easier, much more comfortable, and much more through it. While as you've aged, it's becoming tougher and tougher or challenging to take that first step. It's becoming challenging to take those first steps. Now, the question that I have here for each one of y'all is it that as we age, it becomes tougher to take the first step? Or is it that the more you give in, or the more you find that taking the first step challenging, you're giving in to the age? A few weeks ago, I shared with you all my mother who started driving a two-wheeler at the age of 56. Isn't age just a number? When was the last time you did something for the first time? What was your most recent memory of something that you have done for the first time? If you're nodding your heads, ask yourself, what is limiting you? Is it your perception of how the firsts are? And then ask yourself, as a child, it was so easy to try different things, to test different things, to go into uncharted territory so easily. And yet now you're finding that challenging.
Shall I tell you one thing?
Rabia, a little louder, please. I can't hear
Yeah,
you.
shall I tell you about the same? Like,
Sure, go
why
ahead.
do we find it a challenging at the moment we grow?
Quickly.
The thing is, in the childhood, even if we take a first or do whatever we can freely, without any hesitation, without any what you can call it, reservations as such, and when we do, we are excused. We were excused because everybody says, oh, she or he is a child, might have done it. It was the first trial, and then they just remind you not to do the next thing. But when you just grow up, you hesitate, you think many a times, a million times you can say, before taking your first, because once you take, then you will be answerable, because no one will excuse you saying that you are no more a child. As what I feel, I don't know exactly, you can say that.
Wonderful perspective, Rabia. The choice and the action that you do, as we grow up, we start giving way more importance to what the opinion about us is, rather than the way we look at it. I agree with your perspective of responsibilities and being answerable, but the fact is, beyond all those challenges, whenever we are even thinking about a step, it means deep within us, we have a desire to do something. We have a reason to do something, and yet, because of 100 different factors, external, opinions, failures, situations, we hold ourselves back. And that is something that we need to work around. That is something that we need to start understanding, that you and your importance, the reasoning that you have, is of prime importance than anything else which is surrounding you. Like the point that you said, the reason why we don't have a lot of firsts as we grow up is because we shift the answerability, the point that you said, to someone external. And that's a choice that you're making. That's a choice that you're making. Like as a child, you were outright and said that I want to do this. Who's stopping you? Who's stopping you from doing things where you have a conviction? You have a conviction in doing things and you have a reason for it. That's where I say you don't age. As we age, while you're full of energy, we are getting down with the first forwards. And the reason I say that is because first forwards may not give you success. But success will not be possible without the first forwards. What are you choosing? You're not giving a chance to success by not acting on the first forwards, which are right in front of you, with 100 different reasons that you could have. And the reasons are what I've heard today, wonderful stories from so many people, and the things that I've heard with regard to people, you having to trust people. Akanksha's story about, sure, what's going to come up here? Sri Krishna has just started joining us for the last 2 to 3 weeks now. He isn't aware of what's going to come up in the session, whom he's going to be interacting with, whether he can feel comfortable in sharing his story, comfortable in sharing his perspective. But still, you take that first forward, trust, and act on it. Why do we stop sometimes? Some places could have had an instance where your trust was broken, you were shattered, that it didn't work out the way you wanted to. But I've always believed in universal principles of the way forward to life is trust and hope. You tell me 100 times where the hope has been broken down. Do I have a choice in not having the 101 time when I'm hoping still? The only way to live your life is still having that trust and hoping, and that's how you move forward. You need to be cautious. I don't deny that. You need to be cautious, but you need to learn your lessons. But trust and hope, without that, there's no way forward. There will be times where, in other story I heard about, wonderful thing about Hasunuddin's perspective. Like Pragya already mentioned, one of the biggest limitation is the paycheck. Forget about just the paycheck being a limitation. Your comfort zone of what is the world that you live within and how easily can you move out of that. The more comfortable you are in getting out of the comfort zone, the more challenges you can take up. That is where you will be okay with taking the first step, because that is a risk. Taking that first step is always a risk, but as I always said, every one of us have a good life. And the biggest limitation to a great life is that we have a good life. When you are comfortable sitting in the good life, you're not giving a possibility for a great life because you're okay. You're okay in what you have, what you're surrounded with. And you just don't want to get out of it. I remember sharing a story of a frog in a boiling hot water. While the frog is in the water and the water starts boiling in, up until a certain time, the frog feels comfortable. And only after a certain time where the water starts boiling beyond its acceptance, like Hasunuddin's example, it went beyond the situation where बहुत हो गया अभी. Or the example of Ganesh, 9 to 5 हो क्या रहा है, क्यों हो रहा है, कर क्या रहा हूं मैं. Given all these perspectives, it should never go beyond a state where you just are out of control in your life. I've had this situation in my personal life where from 2008 to 2013, I was working in a corporate life and I was earning a monthly 6-digit payback. I had a choice. I had a choice then to just enjoy my life, and with a pretty good amount of salary, I could just continue and lead a good life without anybody questioning of what you have done to your life. From people's perception, that was a great life already. I was living a dream. I was living a life which people aspired for. And at that level, I had to make a choice that what next? I got into a family business and then worked around the family business and grown that. I have right now a family business and I can, वो कहते हैं ना, 7 पुश्ते के लिए ready है, खाना सब set है. I need not do anything. But I always thought, what next? And that's where the Speak Up Club initiative started. We are not talking of money over here. We are talking about perspectives. We are talking of growing, going out of your comfort zone. I remember Uma ma'am telling me once, if I were to take one session, I know the kind of things that went into the preparation for it. How have you been doing 52 sessions now? It's only because we are okay with going beyond the comfort zone, constantly challenging and testing the waters to go beyond. That's where the meaning of life will come. The more first forwards you keep having, the more better your life can be. And finally, I would say the reason why people often do not take the first forward is they do not have the sight of the road ahead. They do not know what's going to come up next. For all the instances that people have shared here, there will be instances where you do not know what is next. Not everything is wonderfully or beautifully planned to picture that this is what I'm going to do on day 100 or day 1000 after 2 years. Like we have also told, day 1 of the Speak Up Club initiative, we did not know we will be sitting here doing a 54th Saturday night. But the idea is, take that step, go on to that point till where it is visible, and then you'll be able to see a little further ahead. And that's how the journeys grow and evolve. I've always been, when people talk to me about what's your 5-year goal, what's your 15, 20-year goal, I often laugh at that idea for myself. I'm not saying it's wrong. For myself, I laugh at that idea because 5 years back, if you would have asked me, would I be talking to you all today? It was nowhere in imagination. You just have to be in sync with the environment and see what opportunities are coming up, and you will be able to respond to those opportunities accordingly. That's how the first steps, every time if you're in sync with the environment, you will be ready to take the first step, not fearing the failures. So with that, I'd just like to give a toast to the first forward without anything in sight. A toast to the first forward when you knew that there was a mountain to be climbed and you were at the first step. A toast to the first forward where you have gone beyond your comfort zone. A toast to the first forward where you have gone out of your discomfort zone towards what you aspire for. Whether it's relationships, whether it's your career, whether it's your goal, whether whatever fears that you have been facing and limiting, the only way to move forward is to take the first forward. Pragya, you wanted to add something?
Yes. So as we come towards the end of this story, this whole session, and as I said that I'll have something very important towards this session because it's close to me. There's a small story which I had read years back, but had stayed with me. And when I say that you have to tell it to your mind, I think if you remember this story, it will help you whenever you're fearing taking that first step. Listen to it very, very carefully. So this is a story of two grains. There were two grains which were sowed in two different pots at the same point of time. They started talking to each other. The first grain said, I want to grow up. I want to put down deep roots. I want to try something new. I want to see the world. I want to have flowers and I want to grow deep. I want to have blossoms. I want to have fruits. At the same point of time, the second grain said, I am afraid. If I will put down my roots into the ground, I don't know what it will face. I fear the unknown. What if my tender stems get damaged by the winds? What if there are animals to eat my roots below the ground? What if my flowers wither away? What if my fruits are taken away? What if I do not grow as a plant? I would rather prefer to wait here as a seed to be on a safer side. The other seed was quite surprised and said, will you just stay like a seed? You were sown here to grow, to become something which you're capable of to bear those fruits. But this seed, after a few days, died. Whereas the other seed grew up to be a tall tree and blossomed to the best it could. This seed remained under the soil because it kept waiting for the safe environment to take that first step and come out to be a tree. And beautiful learning which I got from this story is that it is always easy to keep waiting for the perfect environment, the perfect people, the perfect situations, the perfect beliefs, conditions to take that first step. But today, I tell it to all of you that I am proud of you. I know I am not somebody that great that it might matter whether I'm proud of you or not. But now I can say that one person in this world is proud of you because you in your life at some point of time have decided to go beyond the perfect conditions, the perfect situations, the imperfect people, and you decided to grow. You decided to take many of those first steps and be here today, still ready to probably take many of these first steps. So whenever you're scared, remember the seed which could have turned into a beautiful plant, being a perfect plant to carry flowers, fruits, and provide that shelter and newness and happiness to the world withered away just because it's scared to take that first step. Don't be that seed. And I really hope
Wonderful, Pragya.
whenever you fear, you will come back to this story and remember to be a tree and not a torn apart seed. Fearing to expand its root. And you will have the courage to bear the storms that the wind might bring for you and still stand tall. Be ready to take your next first step. Happy stepping up to you.
Thank you, Pragya. That
It was
a
really
wonderful,
nice.
that was a wonderful, soulful story, I said, and that's going to stay for long. Before we come to a close of this session, anyone else would like to share any of their perspective, any of their learnings, who have not got a chance to speak today? Shubhadra, Shanu Khan, Shailesh. We have even the Finnish company Nokia joining us today. Lakshmi, anything you'd like to add, anything over here before we come to a close for the session? Bhavagya?
I have some things to add.
Who's this? Sri Krishna?
Sri Krishna, yes.
Yes, go ahead, Sri Krishna.
So it is about my first forward is as I in CBSE syllabus, it was a tough syllabus. So I was forced to go to SS syllabus. So I am from Hyderabad. So in Hyderabad, so in CBSE, Telugu was not mandatory. So my first step is to learn, read and write Telugu. It is not that I know to speak Telugu very well. I speak very fluently. But it was on my 9th standard, I first step to learn Telugu. I had the interest to learn, but I had a fear in my mind, as ma'am said. We had the fear. How will I learn? How will I come? But trust me, after I joined initial days, it was difficult, but I had an interest. I definitely need to learn this language because being in Hyderabad, knowing to read and write Telugu is a very big asset, because whenever we go out or something for anything essential, Telugu is needed here. So that was one of my motivation, I would say. And another thing, it is somewhat negative. It just happened to me yesterday. So I presented my first paper in a seminar. So the problem is I got demotivated. The problem, many people were giving good presentations actually, but I had the fear, my presentation is not good, and because of that fear, I think I did not give my level best there in the way I need to give. So that I think I can develop from now on. So I need to change the way I think. So that's what I learned today. Thank you.
Wonderful, Sri Krishna. Thank you for sharing that. Anyone else would like to add something? Shubhadra ma'am, we are waiting to hear from you. Bhavagya? Okay, sure. Let's get on with the closure for the session. So I came across this wonderful quote today, which read, the miracle isn't that I finished. The miracle is that I had the courage to start. We often listen to the stories of people who have accomplished so much, because we often think that the end of anything that we have done is what matters. But like I've come across in so many instances all through my life, for you to succeed and get to that end of one thing, you have to test your courage, your learnings, and move out of your comfort zone 100 times. Then you might say, why not do it for that one time as well? Just for that one time. The question is, I just didn't know which was that one time. I had to go through these 99 first forwards to know which one will eventually be taking me to the one. So all I'll say is, today, look at the things that you have been holding back. Look at the stories that you have listened to from everyone over here. Look at what you can find as an inspiration to taking that first step, the step forward through which you will reach where you want to be. And with that, we come to an end for this session. And like I always say, Saturday nights have never been this beautiful. For the last 54 Saturday nights now, we are honored that you keep coming back. You keep sharing this platform, your experiences, and adding hope to everyone's life. Thank you for the love that you keep coming back. Thank you for you, who you are. Thank you, everyone.